Writing for adults often means just increasing the swearing. But find an alternative to swearing, and you've probably got a better line. Stephen Moffat.
I am a master of all the words, and is the best one. Tumblr user Headspace Hotel.
You're listening to Writing Roots, brought to you by Aspen House Publishing.
Welcome to Writing Roots. I'm Lee Hole.
And I'm Lee Esses.
Continuing our frequently asked questions, we are breaching this subject of swear words. We see this a lot. The question of, is it okay to write swear words in my story?
The short answer to that question is yes. Anytime you see, is it okay to write, fill in the blank? Yes.
But there are a few exceptions. Obviously, if you're writing middle grade and lower, you probably shouldn't include swear words. Some notable exceptions would be the children's book Go the F to Sleep, which is just amazing when it's read by Samuel L. Jackson. But that's a very, very small market. You're not really writing for the kids at that point. You're writing for the parents.
I am not a fan of limiting writing in pretty much any regard. The more you limit, the less selfish you're going to be in your writing. So I am going to definitely say, put in all of those swear words you think they might want to put in.
I am on the other side of this. This is very much going to be a versus episode because I honestly think there are better words. There are better lines. And depending on the genre, you can kind of turn off a lot of readers. Yes, a lot of readers are just fine with swear words. It doesn't bother them one bit. Some, though, disagree. They would rather not see the F word every other word as they're reading.
I only have it like 4 or 5 times in my current work in progress, which is nearly complete. So it's not like it's all the time, but my character is a cop. She works in law enforcement. Anyone who works in the military or even in kitchens, cooks in like industrial kitchens, man, those guys are every other word.
I mean, just listen to Gordon Ramsay. There are a couple things to help you in this decision, whether or not to include swear words. First off, try to keep it in dialogue as much as possible because this is a character trait. Some characters will be swearing more often. Sometimes it just fits characters to swear.
In the case of a story like The Martian, where he is talking to himself and has this very morbid, dark sense of humor about his life circumstances, he has it outside of dialogue, but that's more of an internal dialogue than it is exposition.
Also, understand that it is perfectly okay to make up words or include other words. My favorite author doesn't swear a lot in his books in the way that we think of it, but there are plenty of in-world swear words. So in a world where storms are such a part of their world, storms is a curse word where they use it as a curse word. Storms or storm it. And it works in the world.
But I'm not going to have my fight scene character, my morally gray character, go, oh gosh darn.
Which I love Supernatural for this because TV, especially older TV, not cable, is really limited in the kinds of words that they can use in their shows. So you have Donna from Supernatural, where there's violence and gore and they're murdering things left and right, and they're saying words like fudge.
During the later years of Supernatural, they do open it up a little bit, and they definitely make fun of that particular fact. But Donna is the sweet, caring, loves everybody with a traumatic past type archetype. So she really tries hard not to swear, so she uses words like fudge.
So there are a lot of misconceptions when it comes to swear words. The first misconception is that good characters don't swear. I'm sorry, everyone swears at some point in time. Even me, sorry mom.
Swear words are not an indication of a good or evil alignment. regardless of what suburban Karens would have you believe. Another misconception is that people will judge you, the author, because of the things your characters say and do.
They're not going to be judging you as the author. If they don't like swear words and you have a ton of them, they might not read your book, but your book's probably not for them anyway. But they're not judging you. They're not looking at you and thinking you are swearing like a sailor.
This last misconception is mostly on my side of the field, that there are better words. Being an author and choosing words isn't about choosing the most eloquent, isn't about choosing the biggest word. It's about choosing the right word. And like my side of the opener said, sometimes a swear word is just the right word.
I have to give you this one because I do have the F word in my current work in progress. Because it's the only word that works there. Now, I have a fix for this. This is, again, in-world swear words. Swear words that you as the author make up or decide this is going to be a swear word for this world. So I am going to replace that F word because I don't really enjoy reading swear words, so I'm not going to write them very often. So I'm going to create one using my principles for this fictional language that I kind of sort of developed based on sounds alone. So I'm going to mash some letters together and say, hey, look, this is now a swear word. However, if you do this, you need to use it more than just once. You need to use it consistently enough that people understand, yes, this is a swear word.
Especially if you're doing screenwriting because they might think they misheard it. So let's say you're still on the fence, you don't know if you should do swear words or not. There are 3 things to take into consideration when you do. Your world, and creating a new swear word if necessary. If it takes place around a church Bible study and it's not a comedy, then there's probably not going to be a lot of swearing in that environment.
So in Firefly, you have go ram. And a lot of Chinese words are swear words because they could kind of skirt the language filter if they're using Chinese. And it works within the culture because the idea is in Firefly, it's set in the future. And Chinese and American cultures were the 2 cultures that dominated and created the future.
Battlestar Galactica, same thing. They're using frack mostly to get around those censorship guidelines.
In Brandon Sanderson, again, you have storms. In his YA series Skyward, you have things like scud. Because it's, you scud a plane, so that becomes their swear word is scud.
So, first step, understand your world. Second step, understand your character. Have you ever seen The King's Speech?
I have, and I know exactly what you're talking about, and I love that scene.
One character is helping another learn to speak without stuttering. And in order to get him comfortable with words, he's intentionally making him use words he would never use on stage and just expressing his frustration verbally, which helps him become better at speaking.
So he goes on a string of F words and more, and it is glorious to see Colin Firth do that.
It kind of sounds like you're starting to side with me here.
I kind of am.
It's because I wrote the notes. The third thing to keep in mind is to understand your audience. I would say that if your audience doesn't know the swear word initially, don't put it in there.
So this falls back again to the children's books, the middle grade books. You probably shouldn't be using swear words in those.
My rule of thumb is if grandma or mom are the ones buying the book, avoid swear words.
Now, if your audience is adult, if you're writing grimdark or dark romance, especially a lot of those where morals are very, very gray within the writing itself, yes, absolutely include swear words. It belongs there.
If the story opens up with a violent murder, it's unlikely that your audience will have never heard whatever swear words follow that. So those are the 3 things you're going to aim for: understanding your world, understanding your character, and understanding your audience.
And you need to keep an eye out on some things, especially if you're going to create a system of swearing. know that most swear words are nouns and sometimes verbs.
If you tuned in last month, we talked a little bit about different parts of speech. And one of the things we mentioned is the words that come and go in a language tend to be the nouns and tend to be the verbs. The words that stay are a lot of the rest of them. So especially if you're introducing one, then it'll be probably used as either a noun or a verb.
Also, keep it simple. Swear words tend to be one syllable long, usually beginning and ending in a hard consonant. There's something very satisfying about a swear word that ends with a nice hard letter. And that's coming from me, the person who doesn't swear.
If it ends in an S, it's going to be a little bit harder because you can't have that final hanging up the phone click at the very end of the sound.
Whether or not you choose to include swear words, this all goes back to choosing the right words for your book. All of the words you use should be the right words for your book, and it's hard to do that on the first round. But even if you don't want swearing, if you find yourself running into that spot where, you know what, this just makes sense, it has to be here, let yourself write it. And maybe fix it later, maybe come up with something later like I plan to do. But let yourself write it because you should be
writing selfishly.
If you have a question or comment for our hosts or a topic you'd like us to cover, send us an email at writingroots@aspenhousepublishing.com or find us on Facebook by searching for Aspen House Publishing.